In today's Tactical Tuesday episode, let's look at hand and battlefield presence. Very similar to card counting, today's tactic primarily involves making a comparison of the total number of cards your opponent has in possession to your own. This tactic is extremely useful in a Rookie Rush matchup, or a matchup in general where your opponent hard plays many of their cards without having ways to draw into their deck. This episode was primarily inspired by the amount of time I've been spending on Duel Masters, and because of this, you'll find some Yu-Gi-Oh related items hitting this channel a little bit. This topic stems from the fact that if you have answers for your opponent that eliminate their field presence or hand presence, which I'll be covering another idea for my What If episode, you force your opponent into the top deck mode. The top deck mode is referred to when your opponent has 0 cards on field and 0 cards in hand. Because of this, the most they can do the following turn is hope to draw a rookie level Digimon and Evolution Climb. For Rookie Rush type decks, this is actually one of the most plausible ways for Rookie Rush decks to dig themselves out of holes into answers. Even top decking a rookie after their entire board has been decimated by a Javolt Schwarmer or an Atomic Blaster, you could potentially draw into a hybrid that lets you swing for game. However, the majority of decks that run your standard 12 to 14 rookies sometimes will just top deck absolutely nothing, resulting in a simple pass and giving you 3 memory. In which case, this gives you pretty much free reign to do anything in the game, considering we don't have hand trap cards that interact with your opponent on their turn. Every color has their best and worst top deck card options, whether you draw that massive board wiper, or blocker, or the one card that lets you swing in for game. In the Digimon card game, there aren't a lot of card effects that let you do massive board wipes. In the earliest stages of the game, the closest thing to a board wipe was Flower Cannon, which effectively suspended all of your opponent's Digimon except blockers if checked in security. The first true option card that board wiped, in some way, came in the form of Lightning Paw, which hit minus 4000 DP to your opponent's level 3 Digimon. Heat Viper was probably where power creep started showing, where we had more generic definers for what could be deleted. Spiral Masquerade, Earthshaker, Ultimate Flare, all delete. But not until BT6 do we get our first huge board wiper in the form of Javolt Schwarmer and Iron Fisted Onslaught. Granted, all delete is everything, but calm down, dude. And of course, the starter decks gave Atomic Blaster. Looking to the future of BT7, this is where your opponent can cheese the hell out of you. In the BT6 format, how often were you staring across the board where you were playing against blue? Your opponent has a Tamer and they have 2 memory. You have 0 security left. Do they have the Lobo? Doesn't matter. If you ice walled, you're still going to lose. With the upcoming BT7 format in a few short weeks, every color has their hybrids. Facing yellow decks with Memory Tamers? Kazemon for game. Green deck with Memory Tamer? Beetlemon for game. Black? Grumblemon for game. And purple? Loemon for game. In particular, if you see a Memory Tamer and 1 card in hand and you have 0 security, pray. Pray they do not have that hybrid for game. Today's Tactical Tuesday is to draw awareness of managing your resources. Let's say your opponent had 3 cards in hand and 2 cards on field. You have 5 cards on the field, but 0 cards in hand. From an observation point, you may have more cards on the field, but they have 3 cards that could potentially turn your 5 cards to 0. Then suddenly, the game becomes your opponent's 3 cards on field, 1 card in hand, to 0 on the field for you, and you're in top deck mode. Digimon does not have remotely a lot of ways for you to board wipe your opponent, and it is limited in specific colors. In the BT6 format, think about it another way with bond decks. Bonding always drops you 2 security unless you're at 0 already, and in doing so, you may put your opponent to 0 or lethal range. But if they have an option card that deletes your final attacker, that's game for you. Some players roll with the high risk, high return mindset. Others are more cautious and will only go in for game if they can almost guarantee it. What are your thoughts on the topic of hand and board presence, and are you self-conscious about it? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for dropping by the channel. That 1000 sub giveaway is almost here, and I want to make it a big one. This is Digi-Panda. Logging out.